Hi, I'm Meisha.
Hi, I'm Penny.
And we are Hitting the Road in Mississippi. Hello everyone, this is Meisha with Hitting the Road in Mississippi, and I'm so honored to be doing this with Miss Hit the Road herself, Peggy Brown.
Thank you, Meisha. And my partner in crime,
That'd be me.
Yes.
And Miss, you have with you tonight someone you've known for a while, so I'm going to let you introduce our buddy here.
I will be happy to introduce our buddy here, and I've known him for about 10 years maybe.
Yeah.
And if I say his name wrong, he's going to correct me.
Correct.
And everybody has problems pronouncing his name.
Don't feel bad.
But it's Jaquilus.
That is pretty. I was
that
going
pretty
to say
good?
pretty damn awesome. Edit.
And you can say that. We're on cable, so it's not a problem.
His mother's name is Jackie, and she named her sons all starting with the
J-A.
And so people seem to have the most problems with his name and try to say it wrong.
Yeah.
So he's actually going by the initials ATG, which he's going to tell you about shortly because that's his group called Against the Grain.
Right.
But
So
his last name is Singleton, and he has a brother named Jerikas, and he has a brother named Jerez. And his mama's name is
Jackie.
And so that's this guy. So talented. He comes from just a really talented family. And he can play the drums.
I do. My first love.
Yeah.
The drums.
And he can sing.
Yes.
Sing.
How y'all doing out there? Shout out to Miss Peggy in the building tonight. Right about now, I want to do a song. We did this song together, me and girls. It's called Smoke from the Grill. Hey, this our song. This our song. Tell y'all a story. Listen. They telling all the stories, but you gotta keep it real. It ain't all for glory, but don't tell me lies. Grace ain't in the house. He's about to get the meat right, but right now Sterling is on the grill. And they smoking cherry wood, might even use some more. This ain't the okie doke, it's time to go live. Smoke coming from the grill. Smoke coming from the grill. Smoke coming from the grill. It's time to go live. But you gotta keep it real. Smoke coming from the grill. Smoke, yeah. It's time to go live. Now, Miller. This takes me back, you know what I'm saying? You know, we country folks, so sometimes we go outside. It don't matter, it can be raining outside. Somebody say, man, I'm home. And all of a sudden, somebody would say, let's make a store run. And somebody would get something to drink. And then somebody would go to rub in the stomach and say, I'm hungry. And my old uncle would come down. He might have some chacos on the side. And he began to soak the chacos and let them simmer to the side. And then he would chop up some wood
in the world you got to Against the Grain?
Okay, well, I start with my name then, because I can't pronounce it half the time, so don't feel
Hey,
bad.
listen, and when you're born,
Oh my goodness, that's one of those names.
Yeah.
And see,
there you go. I'm with you.
so I go by Jakiras. My first name, Jakira Singleton. And funny how I got the name ATG, which stands for Against the Grain. It's really a nice way of saying you're hard-headed as hell. So
I wouldn't think
I
it.
wondered about that.
I wouldn't think
yeah,
that.
Yeah, so I used to get that all the time. So and I always stand, even if I have to stand alone on certain things, and I'm comfortable standing alone, and I'm comfortable being with myself, and I like myself. I like hanging out with myself. So I like to think outside of the box, and I'm not really a go with the flow guy. I kind of push the envelope on some things, and that's how I came up with Against the Grain. Because my uncles, they used to call me renegade and hard headed and things of that nature. So Against the Grain sounds pretty cool.
Right. I like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and how long have you been Against the Grain? How long have you been using that?
Maybe it's really like a fresh concept. Maybe like 2 years now. I think I came up with that name, and we've been kind of pushing it and getting the word out there. And I've been doing a lot of private parties. I've been doing music pretty much all my life. So a lot of people know me from around music, around the church. I played with the Jerika Singleton Band, of course, and we even had a band going back to the late 90s when I was fresh out of high school, graduated in 1999, and I started a band called, what was our band name? Oh my goodness. Heart and Soul. Heart and Soul. We had a band called Heart and Soul, which consisted of me, my Uncle Tony. I don't know if you met Tony.
Met Tony.
My Uncle Tony was on the lead guitar. I actually had to play drums for that band when
I
we
was
first
going to
started.
ask you what you did in that band.
Right.
And,
Yes.
and until they figured out I could sing, and they wouldn't let me play drums. They told me, no, we'll find another drummer. We want you out in the front. And Andre Russell was one of the original members. And one of my first cousins, Jeremy Sherry, we call him Monte, or either Deke. And he was on the bass, and we started, and we played Jackson. We played the 930 Blues Cafe. We played right there on Fortification Street, where they do the open mic Tuesdays. I forget the name of the upstairs.
Yeah.
We played there.
Poets.
Was it Poets? No,
It wasn't Poets when they
like
did
an
that.
Irish type.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember the name of it, but right there on Fortification Street. And we used to play this club on Tuesdays. Finian's.
Finian's.
Shout
I
out
was
to
in
Finian's.
the wrong place.
Yeah,
Finian's.
I gotta get
And
back
is
to
it still
Finian's.
here?
Yeah.
It's still going? Okay. All right.
I gotta get back there, and I haven't been in a while. But we played Finian's, and we would start out with open mics, and people would like what we did, and they would invite us to do parties, birthday parties, and stuff like that. And we kind of branched out, and we started playing the blues.
Playing the blues.
Blues,
At a
man.
place called Finnegan's.
Finian's, that's
Finnegan's.
right.
That sounds kind of Irish.
And we had one guy. He actually followed us everywhere. Before we had following on Instagram, he was a real follower.
Okay.
He made sure that wherever we went, he was there front stage, and he danced all night. And we used to love. We met him at Finian's, and we did like the 930 Blues Cafe, George Street. Was that George? Downtown.
Street?
Was it George Street? And then the Blues Club. But anyway, we did a few clubs and stuff like that, and played around town. And mostly for family, we had parties and things of that nature. So that's how I kind of got into the music scene away from the church. We started out with the blues band. Shout out to my guys, Heart and Soul.
That's really interesting because we've already been talking about how so many blues artists came from the church.
Yep.
And although you're still talking about in the Jackson area, you're talking about how you moved around, so that's hitting the road.
Right.
And you've got people following you as you hit the road already.
Right.
And you haven't even gotten out of Jackson, which is kind of where the boat we're in.
Right.
We can't get out of Jackson yet we've hit the road.
Right.
So it all mirrors. It's the situation we're running into as well.
But now this guy in ATG has been actually hitting the road.
He
Yeah.
has.
He's been playing out of town.
Right. We have been to there's a new place in Biloxi called Ground Zero,
Ground Zero,
which
Biloxi.
is a blues band. They're up and running. Nice sized venue, could hold maybe a couple thousand people comfortably. Which was it? And it's funny how I actually got a phone call out of the blue, which seemed like a guy. He saw me on YouTube, and I thought it was a joke. He saw me on YouTube. Somebody had uploaded a clip of me. He said, well, "Whoever this guy is, I gotta have him at my club." And I got a phone call, and it turns out he was legit. We had some. I was kind of skeptical at first, because he was like, "Hey man, I got a new club down here, and we want to get you out here and get you guys out here."
Wow.
And I looked
That's
up,
cool.
I did some homework on him, and he was legit, and we played there, and it was we had a beautiful experience. They treated us with the utmost respect. We even had security escort us from the green room to the stage.
Oh wow!
And,
Have you had that treatment before?
Wow.
that was a first. That was a first. And I appreciate those guys for that. And we played some stuff in around Mississippi. We played some stuff in Carthage, Mississippi.
Okay.
Where else have we played? I'm trying to think of anything. With my band, we've pretty much been in Mississippi, but I have played all
Okay.
over the world when I was drumming for different bands. We played pretty much all the major states in Mississippi, and even
You
Canada.
toured out of state with Jerica's.
Out of state with the
Yeah,
Jerica Singleton
sure,
band.
yeah.
So I'm no newbie to hitting the road. We actually been hitting the road for a while now.
I want to know who taught you to play the drums. Were you self-taught or?
Pretty much.
Wow.
Pretty much. It was a thing. Everybody, all the young guys. My uncle played Tony Sherry, who played the lead guitar. He actually started off on the drums, and I used to look up to him. I wanted to be like Tony, so he would let me play the drums when I was smaller, around the offering time or before and after church. We would practice on some stuff, and they found out that I could play a little bit, and we used to fight over the drums. It wasn't. The drums was like everybody wanted to be a drummer. Now everybody wants to be a guitarist, lead guitarist. But yeah, so I started playing the drums early, and I would work with him. And I eventually I got my own drum set, and just kind of took off from there.
There we go.
Yep.
And then you ended up being a vocalist, but now you also write.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
We've heard some of your stuff, so tell us about writing.
Wow. Yeah, I started writing because I had so many ideas in my head, and people was like, I was writing a long time ago, but I never would release it because I didn't think it was good enough. I was just something, like a diary type deal. And then some of my people got whiff of, oh, you wrote that? And I would show them some songs. They were like, no. You owe it to the world to show them your gift.
This is actually a song. I go by the name of Against the Grain, ATG. I wrote this song a few moons ago. It's called Take Me to the One. And then we go to the two. And right back to the one more time, take me to the two, and the four. think about music? Any musicians in the house? Let me just put up a 1. All the musicians, just let me see a 1, so I know who I'm talking to. All the musicians know we always follow the bass line. Mr. Mike Bernard, how you feeling tonight? And so we came up with this system to kind of simplify the music sometimes. We came up with a system 1 through 7. And 1 is always the root note. Sometimes we call it the home note. It lets everybody know where we at in the music. But sometimes we go to the 2 and the 4 and right back to the 1. I say sometimes in music we go to the 2 and the 4 and right back to the 1. Take me to the 1, bring it down one time. Let me see some. Listen. And then I got to thinking, y'all. Say 1 is a real place. It's a place where you're home. It's a place where you're home. But sometimes we may venture off, cause we think the grass is greener on the other side. So when we venture off, we always got to come back home to the 1. But when you think the grass is greener on the other side, you go to the 2 and the 4, but then you don't come back to 1. Oh yes we do. We go down to the 2 and the 4, right back to 1. So can somebody help me say, take me to the 1? If I had to go down to my 2, yeah, and the 4, to end up right back at 1. Sometimes you gotta go down to 2 and the 4, end up right back at 1. Can y'all keep it right there? Let's play some blues there.
Branch out and try it, and I started writing, and I'm back writing. I'm doing a lot of writing now. We're working on another album actually that we're gonna me, Mr. Keith Sims on the keyboard, Sherrod on the bass, and yeah, we're back in the studio cooking up some stuff. So y'all stay tuned.
That's right, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. We'll have to have him back. What do you like best? Drumming, singing, being the front man, writing, being in the studio. But what part do you like best?
Performing. Without a shadow of a doubt. On stage, when I'm on stage, it's like a sanctuary. Not to use church terms, but it's kind of like, it's the best part of music when you get in the crowd reaction, and they actually digging and vibing and shaking their head. And you have all kind of reactions. I even had some people cry.
Well, sure.
Which was, I didn't know what to do. But
Well, I was gonna say, what do you do with that?
I had no idea. Put them on my
Beautiful
couch.
music, yeah.
Yeah, so it was. I've been getting a bunch of positive reactions from my music, and people seem to like what we do. So we're gonna keep going.
Do you have a term for what your music is? What genre you would say it is?
That is a good question.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. What do you call what you
That is
do?
a good question. I would say, I always say soul music. And the reason why I say soul music is because I think soul music encompasses every type of music. Soul music, to me, if I would have to define it, it would be music that touches, that I can relate to you and you get the message, and it goes into your inner being and you feel it, and you, just like, I'll take for instance, like Michael Jackson. I wouldn't call him a pop music or whatever, but he would go, Michael Jackson toured the world, he would go places that people don't even speak English.
Right.
But they
Right.
love Michael Jackson, which means that to me is soul music. Because
It's touching them.
it's touching, and they actually know the feeling, and I think that's what music is. It's a feeling that you can relate, whether it's a sad song or a happy song or a dance or party song. People, can feel in what you're actually putting out and projecting. And I believe that's why I like saying soul music. It's got everything in there.
You write, you sing, you do it from here.
Right.
And it doesn't fit a genre. It's just what you feel in it, and people relate to it or they don't.
That's absolutely
Yeah.
true. Because I like to, and I like all different types of music. I actually played in the band in school. Early on, I played a little trumpet. A lot of people don't know that I played a little trumpet in the band.
No, I didn't know
So,
that.
That exposed me to a different types of music,
Sure.
different genres of music, jazz, classical. I love it all. So sometimes I want to hear some jazz. Sometimes I want to hear some classical.
Right.
Sometimes I want to hear some blues, some old school blues. Sometimes so I'm all around guy, and I think it's hard for artists to box themselves into one genre. And that's why I say I'm against the grain, because I don't think I can be boxed into one genre.
You will see the smoke, take it to the bridge. Smoke, smoke. Can you see the smoke when we go live? Smoke, 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 smoke. When we go live.
For joining us, and you can reach out to us at this email address, htrprb @gmail.com. We'd love to hear any ideas you might have about what we're doing or any suggestions about where we might go or someone we might interview.
As we are hitting the road in Mississippi.